All right, folks, good morning. Let's go ahead and get airborne with our Options Weapons School session number 3. We're going to do an urgent alert this morning. Let me make sure we're all good to go here. Let me get a thumbs up if you guys can hear me, see me, Pink Floydish. All right, good. Thanks. All right, so we're in session number 3 of Options Weapons School. This is going to be our urgent alert. The urgent alert service isn't a live trade brief. It's one trade per week. I usually do a video, and I do a video portfolio review of the existing positions and add a new trade. But today I'm going to do it live just because you guys are here, and we will do it live. So real quick, folks, we opened up the door last night. I think as of me talking to support a little while ago, we have about we had 7 go between last night and this morning. And a bunch of my existing members grabbed their academic only slots. So slots are moving fast, folks. Let me get you this link. I know couple people in the chat box had said, hey, I watched the replay last night. Now I'm ready to go. So let me give you that right here. So it's pretty easy. Go.topgunoptions.com/get OWS, Get Options Weapons School. So there it is. There's kind of 2 options for you to choose. An annual membership of $9.95 gets you the primary live trade brief that we did on Tuesday. It gets you the 8 academic sessions, and I gave you a demonstration of how an academic session would go last night. And then you get also access to the urgent alert service. If you're going to do $14.95, we throw in weekly options. The weekly option service, we have a 94% hit rate, profitability rate in that service. It's crushing it year to date. Got an SPX bear call spread that I think is going to fade by tomorrow, but this is a great deal, guys. So everything's on here that you need to know. Sure, this is the replay page. Let me get you the replay page, Steve. Last night's replay is posted on here, so if you missed the replay or you missed last night's session, the Iron Condor training, did an Iron Condor and Apple. We went through that pretty thoroughly. Like I said, my training sessions usually last an hour and a half, 2 hours on just that one tactic. I think we went for about an hour last night. Obviously want to get airborne, and you can grab your slot right here too. There's a button on the replay page for you to grab your replay slot. Okay, so that's the slot update. I'm sure as I go through this morning's urgent alert, we'll get more folks grabbing their slots as they go. Like I said, even if this isn't full throttle, folks, so there isn't 50 slots. This is Options Weapons School. There's only 25. Okay, so it's a little tighter group. And if we get 25 by tomorrow's session at 1 o'clock, I'll still do it, but you won't be able to get it until we do another service. Okay. Let's go ahead and get airborne. Any questions, concerns? Oh, by the way, smart remarks about the session last night or Tuesday, anything before we get airborne and do our urgent alert. We're going to be getting that. We're going to take a look at volatility this morning. We have to do this. Chris, what is the weekly options include? Weekly options, the weekly options live trade brief is every Monday at 1 o'clock. So every Monday at 1 o'clock, I get in a room with my weekly options members. We put on a trade or two. There's a small basket of weekly option stocks and ETFs that I trade, Apple, S&P 500, a little bit of Goog every once in a while, Facebook, and that's about it. You don't trade weekly options on stuff that you just, hey, it's Monday morning, let me throw in a weekly options trade on something. So it's every Monday at 1 o'clock, 1 to 2 trades. Texted out to you and emailed out to you, and then managed throughout the week by me. So the weekly option service is one of our most popular services, and like I said, we have a 94% hit rate with weekly options. That service is crushing it. A lot of people paid for a lifetime membership last week when we put out that offer. Rick, full throttle is a little bit more expensive, and it includes a lot more stuff. Let me go. Not that I want to get FT, I think it is. Let me see. Yeah, here's full throttle, folks. It's if you're interested. We had a couple slots attribute. This is the full throttle program, folks. This is it's defensive is $19.95 a year, offensive $24.95, and if you want access to everything, every live trading session we do throughout the week here at Top Gun Options, it's $29.95. So if whoever asked, if you want to see the difference between the two, you can take a look at this page right here. I don't want to confuse you, but if you asked, I'll answer. All right, so I hate doing the marketing stuff, folks, because I'm not a marketer, I'm a trader. Let's go ahead and get airborne. Again, before we do any urgent alert, we have to do a quick strategic brief. We covered what's going on in China. Their economy's starting to slow down a little bit. Sounds familiar, sounds like us, right? You bet, Rick. So Rick, just take a look at the two programs, either Options Weapons School or Full Throttle, and obviously Options Weapons School is a little bit cheaper, but it has less services. So get what you pay for. And Full Throttle, you can do everything we do here. So China is it's slowing down. We know that. We have a bunch of FXI positions in various portfolios. My God, the VIX down here under 10. We're going to be getting long vol this morning, guys. This is stupid. With this volatility down there. Chris, if you want to upgrade to Full Throttle at some point, can you do that? Absolutely, Chris. I think we just charge you the difference. That's all it is. If you wanted to upgrade eventually from Options Weapons School to Full Throttle, yep, you just pay the difference. Talked about the terrorist attack this week, the bottle rockets going off, and the rockets red glare from Kim Jong-un. And then we got big political crisis down in Brazil, and we have just about no volatility, folks. Seriously, Trump, impeachment or Comey memos and nuclear war with North Korea. I saw a report this morning that one of our Navy ships was cruising near one of these man-made islands, these Chinese islands. Thanks, Obama. So underneath President Obama, China took a bunch of dirt from China, put it on ships, drove out 600 miles into the middle of the Pacific, found a couple atolls at low tide, threw all the dirt on it, made a runway and said, China. So they literally extended their country, in their minds, 600 miles. What did we do? Zero. We shrugged. So now they control most of the Pacific in their minds. And when our ships sailed through there, they were warned, you're trespassing in Chinese territorial waters. That ain't going to end well either, folks. So there's a lot of crap going on around the world here, folks. And what's going on? Just like Edelman says, the guy who Gordon Gekko was modeled after in the movie Wall Street the other day, he's like, the market's never going to go down. We have the plunge protection team that people don't like to talk about that exists in the government. We have this invisible put, this invisible hand of the government that steps in and buys the market. A lot of people think that. I don't know if I necessarily disagree. Stocks near a record high as U.S. economic data crashes to 15-month lows. What did we get this morning, folks? The S&P's up 7 points. What's the Dow doing? Look at this. S&P's up 8 points right now. Well, Wiz, there's good news. Can you tell me what it is? Q2 GDP to suffer as retail wholesale inventories tumble in April. Anybody care about macroeconomic data being weak? But hey, world stocks hit record highs. Oil falls as OPEC makes a deal. So OPEC agrees to extend their crude output caps. So obviously oil's going to, the price is going to go down here. But it's down a little bit. But they're doing this. They're extending their caps because they want the price to go up, right? And it's having the reversed effect. Exactly, Dan. I saw that this morning. Whenever Dennis Gartman gets bullish, to take the other side of that trade. So that's pretty funny that you said that because I said the same thing. Where is it? There you go. Gartman turns bullish on tech. Every time we think the market is overbought, it moves higher. So do the exact opposite of what, sign up here, do what I do, because it's usually the exact opposite of what this guy does every day. But here's the deal, folks. We have to, the market is up right now, obviously. Whenever you hear this, look at this, market up with the Dow up 66 points and the S&P up 8, volatility should be down a hell of a lot more than 6 cents or 0.6%. So write this one down. Market up, VIX up, something is up. So the VIX isn't, quote, up right now, but it should be down a hell of a lot higher than this. It's not. I call this a hold your nose rally, folks. The market is getting a bit higher. The volume is anemic right now. You really have to take a look at volume in this market because there's like 3 people trading. I think there's Moose, Rocco, and Steve on the floor. Look at this, man. There was some airspeed to get back to our Comey memo. If you think that this thing is just going to keep on doing that, you're nuts. Okay, this was the Trump rally into the State of the Union speech. Huge tax relief next week. Huge announcement on this. Huge that. Huge that. And he said everything that he said for the past month in a State of the Union, so the market's like, well, that was stupid, that rally. This is going to end, folks. I'm not Nostradamus. As I joked with you guys, my call sign's Wiz. Well, guess what? I can't guess what is out here to the right side of in this white space, okay? I mean, but I just briefed you on how most of the risk is to the downside, down here in this white space. War with North Korea, China slowing down, China getting involved militarily with us, something going bump in the night. I saw an article the other day about a couple Su-27 fighters, Chinese fighters doing the old Top Gun inverted over one of our intelligence airplanes. Russia is still out there. We got oil issues. We got Iran just sitting there on their hands going, okay, whatever happens in North Korea is going to happen to us, so let's pay attention to this. A lot of bad out there. We got Trump coming back from his trip, and as soon as he touches, U.S. soil, and here comes the impeachment talk again. A lot of bad out there. But again, I'm going to give you a wisdom. You have to trade the market you have, not the one you want. Not saying that I want a down market. I'm just saying that another wisdom. The market can remain irrational longer than you can stay solvent. Okay? So I will make sure you have your PDF. There's a trade plan PDF. You guys should have all printed out by now or downloaded or done whatever with it. You have to have your strategic mindset. Right now, mine's neutral. Well, Wiz, if you're looking at the left side of the chart and you tell me your strategic mindset is bullish, you need to give me some reasons why you're bullish. You see this flat earnings period? Earnings didn't light the world on fire. They were better than they have been for the past couple of years. Don't get me wrong, but that's no reason for you to sit here and say this thing's just going to keep going. So let's get into an urgent alert for today. I want to get long volatility. Don't trade the VIX, guys. This will be part of your lectures here when you sign up for Options Weapon School when I give you your 8 sessions every Tuesday and Thursday night, 7 o'clock for about 4 weeks. But the VIX, folks, it's futures. It's 30 days out on the S&P 500 on calls and puts. So you can't really trade the VIX, and I'll leave it at that. There's about 33, 35 ETFs that serve as proxies for the VIX. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So now, look at this. Now the S&P, now we're getting a short squeeze, guys. Now the S&P is up 10 on what? On bad GDP data. Let me see if any reports just came out. Let's take a look at this real quick. I am seeing nothing, and my hedge fund isn't texting me. Where are we? Thursday. What do we get? 10:30. Natural gas. That wasn't in it. Maybe there's this Fed lieutenant, Brainerd, speaking and said something. Carlisle, no, I wouldn't do a long call diagonal with protective put on the VIX or VXX. Carlisle, don't ever trade the VXX outside of 30 days or 60 days. Why? Everybody take a look at the VXX. It has contango, folks. This thing has to rebalance. So look at VXX. It's going to go to 0, folks. They're going to have to rebalance it or split or inverse split or something like that. Look at this. Now compare it with the VIX. The VIX, folks, is a heart rate monitor. Remember, something happens to freak the market out, it goes up. When the whatever event that freaked the market out goes away, so look at this, folks. VIX up, down, it stays. The VXX has contango, guys. You can't, every day that you're holding VXX long, it atrophies, okay? So you can't, no, it's not a good idea, actually. So I'm glad you asked that. That's a very good question. But short term, this is a good vehicle to potentially use against a market freaking out. Okay, look, there's the, I think that's the Comey memo right there. Whoops, that's the Comey memo. And look, the market freaked out. I had on a bullish double vertical, the same trade I'm going to show you right now, that made like $4 grand or something like that in a day. Okay, it was actually down like $2 or $3 grand going into, and last Tuesday or whenever it was, some of my members like, Wiz, do we adjust this? I'm like, no. When you put on a hedge against volatility, you don't, if you do know what's going to happen in the next 3 days, tell me what the lottery number's on. You don't. So last week was a perfect example of that discipline. My strategic mindset, my commit criteria was something is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks to freak the market the hell out. It does. Look, I told you that the market right now is like a forest that it hasn't rained in years, and we're running around with road flares, and somebody's going to trip, man. And when somebody trips, holy crap, look at how quick with that Comey memo volatility move. The VIX can move 20, 30% in a minute. Okay, so whenever something happens to freak the market out, I'll tell you, the other night when the Manchester thing happened, I swear to God, I'm looking at the futures. I'm like, where's the volatility? You're kidding me? The 22 people get blown away, kids, parents at a concert with a nail bomb, and the market shrugs it off. That's a little off. So now the VIX is down 1.5%, and the market's given up a little bit. I want to get on a trade, guys. So I get step one. Strategic mindset, I am market neutral. Step two, the target, for reasons I just explained, I'm going to trade VXX. Step three, commit criteria. I think I just gave it to you. Let me give it to you again. Commit criteria are 3 to 5 sentences that are laser-like, hit me right between the eyes with why are you committing capital to this trade? Here it is right between the eyes. I believe something is going to happen to freak the market out in the next couple weeks. Volume is low, volatility is low, and there are several macro and geopolitical events that could freak this market out, and volatility will spike enormously. I don't know if that's the appropriate word, but it makes sense. What do I mean? So, and now I move on to step four, the tactic. If I think something is going to have a violent move in either direction, many of you have never seen this or heard of this trade before. I love this trade, and it's going to change a lot of the way you guys trade. You ready? The first thing you need to employ this trade is you need 3 reallys. Listen to me. You need to be really, really, really bullish or really, really, really bearish. I'm not kidding. This trade needs about 3 reallys in it, because it's 2 trades on top of each other. So the tactic, if you're writing down on a trade plan, is called a bullish double vertical. Okay? This thing's pretty cool. Let me ask you all a question, and I want an answer so I can take a sip of my coffee. If, you know what, Wiz, you had me at, you think something's going to happen to freak the market out in the next 3 weeks. I agree. If you think something's going to go up, if you think the VXX is going to go up, you ready for this 10:17 in the morning blinding question? If you think something is going to go up, you also think it's not going to do what? Type your answers now. Go. If you think something's going to go up, Wiz, I think VXX is going to spike on some uncertainty. What do you also think it's not going to do? Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Thanks. Sorry about that. That was weird. The options house platform crashed and I lost my sound. I think it was like a flash thing. All right, we're back. Good. So, folks, if you believe me, and you know what, Wiz, I think VXX is going to pop, you could do what is called a debit spread, right? You could buy a bull call spread. Wiz, you had me at ball's going to pop. I'm going to do a bull call spread. And then I'd shake my head at you and say, why? Why aren't you a member here at TGO? Because that makes no sense to me. What do you mean it makes no sense? If I think VXX is going to pop, I can do a bull call spread. For folks, it makes my skin crawl whenever I say the word debit spread. In this trade, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we get that paid for? You just told me, yeah, I can do a bull call spread if I think VXX is going to pop. But everybody in this room just said, well, Wiz, I also think if something's going to go up, I don't think it's going to go down. Then why, you ready for this? I'm going to change your life. Then why don't we sell a bull put spread? A bull put spread is called a what? It's also called a credit spread. So why don't we put on a credit spread that pays or helps pay for the debit spread? Isn't that cool? Watch this. So the tactic, step 4, write this down, is a bullish double vertical. How far out am I going to go? Well, it's almost Friday. I want to go about 3 weeks, middle of June. Folks, something's going to happen between now and the middle of June that's going to freak this market out. Agreed? So here's what we're going to do. Let's take a look at the let me just build this real quick because I did this before the market. On the trade options house, whatever you want to call it, platform, they call it a vertical spread. I'm not a guy who doubles up words. It's like, it's annoying when people say, hey, I'm going to the ATM machine. I'm like, you're going to the automated teller machine. It's like vertical spread. I don't like it. So here's what I'm going to do. The first thing you should notice is the picture over here. Oh, okay, so there's a bull put spread and there's a bull call spread. A double vertical, folks, is just simply two spreads on top of each other with the same strategic mindset. In this case, bullish. I am bullish on volatility, which technically, if you want to put in parentheses, you could say, well, I guess I'm a little bearish on the market, because if the market implodes, volatility is going to explode. So let me just play with some strikes here. That actually looks pretty good. Let me play with the contracts real quick, and I'll be right back to come and get you. Let me just see how many of these I can do for my risk. That's not too bad. Maybe 150. All right, so I'll come back and get you in a second. Here we go. All right, so let's build a double vertical together, folks. As I said, if you think something's going to go up, you could do a bull call spread. But here's what I'm going to, let's take a look. I'm going to sell 150. Why 150, Wiz? Risk. That's for me. I'll show you in the next screen. Of the June 17. Why June 17? Because I don't want to go further than 3 weeks. I mean, hell, something can happen as I'm speaking to you to freak the market the hell out. So I'm not going to go out a month because we get that contango, that badness, but I'm not going to go out to, tomorrow. I want 3 weeks is a nice time frame. And I'm going to sell an at the money put right here, the 13.5 put. Well, Wiz, what if Jesus, Ganesh, Buddha, and Muhammad all come back to life and peace, love, and understanding breaks out? Volatility goes to zero. There's nothing wrong in the world. Well, I'm buying these 13 puts as a hedge. The S&P has a rally to 10,000 because here comes Jesus. The VXX is going to implode. So that's our hedge to the downside, buying these puts. This is called a what? A bull put spread, also called a credit spread. So we're bringing in some scratch to say vol's not going to implode. It can. We can, this grind higher and climbing this wall of worry rally can continue. So that is a threat to this trade. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take the credit from this bull put spread and I'm going to buy a bull call spread. I'm going to buy the 14.5, 15. Now this should put the biggest smile on everybody's face in this room who's never heard of this trade. It's a credit spread. Net, with this trade, this volatility hedge, I'm getting paid to do this. Hold on, Wiz. You're telling me that the USAA guy just came into my home, sat down at my kitchen table and said, I'm going to pay you. We're going to pay your auto, home, and life for the next 3 weeks. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to grab a screenshot of it. Why? Because I'm going to send this out to my urgent alert members, which if you haven't grabbed your slot yet, you're going to be one of them. VXX with the date, 5/25. Okay. I'm going to click create order. And of course, I'm going to go mid-market. We'll talk about legging into this trade if you have to, but let me get to that in a second. If this is your third options weapon school session with me, you might be a little conditioned right now to know what's coming. When I click this analyze button, everybody is going to look at one place and one place only. You ready? And it's the sad face. I'm going to teach you this discipline. Max potential loss. I'm going to teach you to have an SOP, standard operating procedure. I don't want to risk more than 5% of the model portfolio, based on a $100,000 model portfolio, on any one trade. $5,000. Why? Folks, I've been doing this a quarter of a century. That's me. I like not risking more than, it's going to leave a mark if I lost that much, but I'm not going to flame out. Many of you don't even know how much risk is in each one of your trades if something goes wrong. You're not disciplined, folks. You're that retail trader. You got to become a member here, folks, because we're going to, don't ever look at the happy face first. How many of you, if I didn't force you to look at sad face, some of you probably still didn't listen to me and said, holy crap, this trade can make nearly 11 grand if volatility pops? Yeah. But, whoa. I can lose 4,500 bucks? Yeah. So if you're not okay with potentially losing that, don't ever look up here. Many of you do the exact opposite and go, yeah, I won 11 grand. And then when it doesn't go your way, you're like, you're livid. That tells me you didn't do your trading. But max potential loss is 4,500 bucks. That's well within my SOP. Wiz, I want to risk 2,500 bucks. Well, maybe you do 80 contracts. I don't know. I can't tell you. So the 150 contracts is what gives me this max potential loss. So now I can give myself a thumbs up and say, I'm okay with this potential loss. Now I can look at Mr. Happy Face and go, okay, great. That would be a good hedge to my portfolio. John, $5,000 per trade? Well, it depends on the portfolio. This is the weekly options and urgent alert portfolio. I can show you the primary live trade brief portfolio in a couple minutes, but it just depends on the portfolio. Anywhere from 7 to 15 positions in a portfolio. Okay, so now using current, as I'm speaking to you, at the money volatility for the VXX, there's a 20% probability of that max profit. And there's a 39% probability of the max loss. Well, Wiz, those seem kind of low. Of course, folks, because they're showing us the best case and worst case scenario for this trade. Well, what's kind of realistic? Look at this. There's a better than 50-50. There's a 54% probability of at least breaking even. So that's the one you should go, okay, so this trade can help me sleep better at night. I have a lot of longs in my position, Wiz, and I don't have a hedge against another Comey memo, a Donald Trump 2 in the morning tweet, or a North Korean something goes bump in the night. Exactly. That's why I'm putting this trade in my urgent alert model portfolio. Now, we could, I'm going to click create order. And this goes in as a double vertical, folks. The market makers see it. They know what it is. But if I don't get filled here, I'm going to, as I'm continue talking with you, I might break the trade up, kind of like the Iron Condor training I did last night. I said, hey, if we don't get filled on the full Iron Condor after, I don't know, 20 minutes hanging out, drinking a cup of coffee, we can break this trade up into its 2 spreads. We can try and get filled on the bull put spread and then try and get filled on the bull call spread. Which one do you do first? Who cares? So I'll probably do that. If it doesn't, if I don't get filled, I'll break it up here in a couple minutes. But let me press send to start working it, because here's what I also want to do. If you're a member, when you become a member, make sure, folks, after you grab your options weapon school slot, and for the 7 or 8, I think we just got 1 or 2 as I've been talking, make sure you email support. Make sure you email support with your telephone number, okay? And you say, hey, I just signed up, and we'll get you these text alerts, okay? So this goes out to my members right now. This is why if you can't make it to a live trading session, don't worry about it. If you're sitting in death by meeting there, your phone's going to buzz with a text alert. I can run TGO from my phone, folks. I have my Options House platform on here. I can send out trades. I receive trades. So don't, if you're like, Wiz, I work for a living. 80% of our TGO members work for a living. They watch the replays, they get their text alerts, they can do, you don't have to be at every live trade brief, folks. Urgent alert, new VXX, bullish, double, vertical, 150 contracts. June 17 is the expiry. I'm going to buy the 13 puts. I'll get to your questions in a second here, guys. A lot of you are pretty psyched about this trade. You've never seen it before. Then I've done my job here. Buy the 14.5 calls and sell the 15 calls. Upside. Oops, 1 second. And it's a credit, man. Buy. At a 20-cent credit. And I try and get filled plus or minus 10 cents, folks. Or break up into 2 spreads. Oops, SPR, SPD. And actually, I think I can send this out to copy. I think I can send this out. I think we have you guys in a drop down here. If when you registered for Options Weapon School, I think on the opt-in page there was a cell phone number slot, wasn't there? Let me see if I can. So if you're a member, you just got a text. Let me open up my phone here. there it is. So can you see that? So 2 seconds, folks. You get the trailer. I will, Chris, I'll cover that. Deborah, let me get this. If you opted in, where is it? Promo, options, weapon school, webinar registrations. If you've given us your cell phone number when you opted in, you're about to get this. So I'm being a nice guy. And then I need to send this out to my urgent alert members. So where's my urgent alert? Here, this is an email to them. Urgent alert, new VXX bullish double vertical. You got to get long here, guys. In vol, it's nuts. The VIX is under 10 again. I could completely lose money on this trade, guys. The next 3 weeks could be peace, love, and understanding in the world. You believe that? I don't. Okay, so when you opted in on the registration page, you gave us your cell phone number as optional. It said, hey, do you want to get a text alert? You just got it, because I just got another one. Okay, let me answer the questions. Let me just see where the market is on this. Now it's at 21 cents. God, the SPX is up 10. So I'll tell you what, I'll answer questions because there's a lot of good ones about, let me open the chat box here and see what they were. And the link, whoever asked to grab your slot, yes, the link is in the, to grab your slots. All right, Lawrence, with VXX, at 13.54, I would sleep better selling the 12.5, 13 instead of the, and yes, Lawrence, it's a great, remember folks, you're getting to eavesdrop. I'm your F-18 instructor pilot. You're getting to watch me fly and fight the Hornet. You're in my back seat right now. You take notes, man. At the end of the day, 2 single-seat F-18s, we wanted to shoot down MiGs. We'd both fly and fight the jet a little bit differently, right? But at the end of the day, the mission objective was the same. So Lawrence, great idea. You know what, Wiz? I'm going to do the 13, 12.5 bull put spread, and I can still bring in a credit. Love the way you're thinking, Lawrence. Chris, are these trades need to be placed immediately? Chris, they're not, even during the weekly options session, they're not like immediate time critical. That's why I give you a range, Chris, in the alert that says, hey, I'm going to try and get filled on this at whatever it is, 20 cents, and I said plus or minus 10 cents. So they're not immediate time critical, like holy crap, I got this text and it's mission impossible, that your cell phone's going to explode in 3 seconds if you don't choose to go on the mission. No, Chris. Deborah, you said we needed 3 reallys to do this trade. I missed the other 2. What are they again? No, Deborah, I'm being kind of funny, but I'm being serious. You need to be really, really, really blank, bullish or bearish. Because this trade, if volatility spikes, you got 2 spreads on with the same direction. If volatility spikes, this thing prints money. Like last week with the Comey memo, a similar trade like this was like down $2,000. It was up it was up $6,000. It had an $8,000 swing in a morning. Okay, so you need to be 3 reallys, Deborah. That's what I mean. Is like really, really, really bullish on volatility. And folks, guess what happened last week? I had too many trades on for my members, but I said, hey folks, Comey memo. I said the guy's he's a liar. He's either a felon or he's a felon. He either committed a felony by perjuring himself in front of Congress last month by saying nobody's pressured me at all. So he either lied then, or as the nation's chief law enforcement officer, he should have arrested Trump if he did try to obstruct justice. He didn't. So then he's a felon for not, doing something about it. So I told my members, I said, guys, I already have my urgent alert on for the week, but I would be doing a bearish double vertical. So Deborah, this is what's cool about a double vertical is, oh my God, with something, something went bump in the night, North Korea, volatility is, the VIX is up 30%. I'm up $3,000 on this double vertical. Take the $3,000, folks, and then literally roll inverted in your F-18 and do a bearish double vertical. Swap the trade around. Now, that's a whole separate discussion. When you grab your slot and we do our 8 training sessions, I'm going to do an hour and a half just on a double vertical. How to manage it, what to do. With volatility trades, ladies and gentlemen, you want to be early. Here's what I mean by that. My dad, God bless his soul. Hey, Matthew, can you take me to the airport? It's great seeing you. Can you take me to the airport tomorrow at 8 a.m.? I'm like, Dad, your flight's at 1. What, did you get an earlier flight? He's like, no, I'll be fine. I'll read my book. He's like, if I'm 1 minute late, I'm not important enough to bring the airplane back. Unfortunately, he was right, but they should have for my father of that stature, but he's right. Same thing with volatility trades. It's better to be a little bit early to get in or out of them than late. Because once that airplane pulls back and volatility spikes, you're going to be standing on the jet bridge going, ah, crap, I didn't have that trade on. Same thing, though. Once the market freaks out, the Comey memo happened, big spike in vol, smart guys like me, and I'm not patting myself on the back, I consider myself a smart guy because I'm like, he's a liar, he's a liar. I knew that was going to blow over. Even Democrats are throttling back like, oh boy. And Comey, I will testify next week in open committee. And anybody see Comey testify this week? He canceled because he know, oh crap, I really painted myself into a corner. So soon as you made the 3 or 4 grand on the bullish double vertical, you should get inverted and do a bearish double vertical. Ladies and gentlemen, around the Brexit, we made 22 grand on 2 trades. 11 and 11. Literally it was, holy crap, are they going to leave the EU? And as the vote was going on, I'm like, let's get bearish. Take the money off the table. Because once, here's a Yogi Berra-ism. Once something is known, you ready? It's known. What do I mean by that? Volatility goes up, uncertainty, right? As something's uncertain. Once something's certain, even if it's bad, volatility comes in, folks, because it's known. Well, that moment went away. It kind of sucks. Or vol can stay elevated for a little bit, but eventually it has to come down, folks. Think of volatility as me upstairs in my gym on the treadmill. I can do a 10 incline at 10 miles an hour for about a minute, and then I got to get back to what? My resting heart rate. That's what the VIX does. So whether it was the election, we printed money trading volatility around the election, folks, and I hate guys who use that term, so I hate myself for a little bit, but we did. I said, Trump's going to win, folks. The polls are lying to you. Are you serious? Yeah, folks, the polls are lying to you. Trump's going to win. There goes volatility. Even Citigroup, Goldman Sachs put out reports. Hillary's got it walking away. And if Trump wins, by the way, the market goes down 5 to 10%. I said, they're lying to you, folks. Not only is Trump going to win, the market's going to go up 5 to 10%. Anybody know what happened? That happened. And our folks, some of our members were up $130,000, $150,000 in one Goldman Sachs trade. I did 5 contracts, but a couple of those folks did 20, 150 grand profit in one trade, guys. I've never, that was a career call for me. Wall Street Journal, Fox News, it was pretty cool. So volatility, folks, look how fast it climbed and look how fast it came back. Okay, Comey's a felon or he's a felon. Volatility imploded over the next couple days, right? Trump got on an airplane, went overseas, looks pretty presidential. That's what's going on here. Now, that wasn't 20 minutes. That was a little less than that. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to break this up into its 2 spreads and leg into it. Since I'm not getting filled on the whole thing, let's break it up into spreads. Add edit legs. So let's ditch the bull put spread for now. Try and get filled on the call spread. Why are you doing that one first? Who cares? There's no rhyme or reason. So we'll put on the bull call spread. And now it's time to put on the bull put spread. It's funny to me. I get it, but it's funny to me how people freak out about that. Why'd you do the put spread first? I don't know. I flipped a coin. No, I didn't. I just kind of did this. So now I'm going to try and leg into it. Okay? I'm going to try and leg into it by breaking it up into 2 trades. What you get out of the trade with the spike in volatility? Chris, that's exactly what you do with this trade. When volatility spikes, something happens between now and whenever that expiration is, the regular June expiration. Holy crap, Wiz, the VIX is up 30%. Like I said, Chris, you want to be early with these trades. Pigs get slaughtered. If you want to sit there and, well, Wiz, it's up 6 grand, but it can make 10,500. Remember, folks, just as quickly as uncertainty goes up, it goes down. A lot of folks, who come to my free, like an options weapon school or full throttle, put one of these on and like, well, I don't have to join now. Now I kind of know what I'm doing. I get an email like, crap, I should have joined because I stayed in it too long, and now the event or the uncertainty is gone. I turned a $4,000 or $5,000 potential winning trade on volatility into a losing trade. Can't help you, man. That's why you need to sign up for TGO and Options Weapon School, because I will teach you all of these things. It kind of like the printing money comment. I don't like this one, but I'm going to say it. Volatility trades sometimes can be shooting fish in a barrel. The Brexit, The Fed meetings. Everybody remember uh, the Bernanke Fed meetings when the market was like, oh crap, he's going to start tapering all this QE. He's buying $85 billion a month in liquidity. One of these meetings, he's going to announce that they're stopping that. So every Fed meeting for like a year, I was doing bullish double verticals going into that Fed meeting. And then as he would come out and, clear his throat and sit in front of the microphone, I would sell that. I do the exact opposite. So vol spikes, and then as soon as Bernanke would start talking and say, nah, we're not going to start our tapering, vol would implode, guys. So some of these trades can be like shooting fish in a barrel. So you may only be in the trade for a day, possibly. Well, Chris, well, sure. If I get filled on this, Chris, and tomorrow's Friday, and God forbid something bad happens, terrorism, Trump tweets something, or there's a smoking gun. I have a recording of the president threatening, me if I don't make the General Flynn thing go away. The VIX will be up at 12. Look at what it did in a day, Chris, or a couple hours. It went from what, about $10 up to 14. It's a massive spike in volatility. So, Chris, you're right. I could be in this trade for a day, a week, 2 weeks, or hold it closer to expiration. So very, very good question. I'll talk about trade management and all sorts of other stuff. Chris, the trade management of this, here's what's pretty cool. Let me bring this up. Where's VXX? I'm getting deep into how this tactic works, but like I said, I don't want to give away too much. Sign up for Options Weapon School, and we'll talk about a bullish double vertical for an hour and a half. But Chris, here's how I manage the trade. A bull put spread is what? It's called a credit spread. It likes theta. It loves time decay, right? A bull call spread, I hate this word. It's a debit spread. Doesn't like theta, doesn't like time decay. So, are you ready? If we get a massive spike in volatility out of the blue, holy crap, Comey memo part 2, big spike in volatility. Here's the way I would manage it, Chris. I told you the bull call spread doesn't like theta or time decay. So if the bull call spread has some nice profit in it, I would close that spread first. Take the money off the table, man, just like the guy in the song said. Go and take the money and run. And I would hold the bull put spread. Why? I just told you guys. It's a credit spread. Volatility spikes. Both spreads are profitable. Take the debit spread off first because it's got theta. It's got some good profit, but it's going to atrophy here. Leave the bull put spread on and let it ride. That's one way to manage this trade. The other way to manage this trade is look at this, folks. Yo Soy Wiz, has 150 contracts. Let's say Comey memo part 2 or whatever smoking gun happens, volatility goes through the roof. Maybe I take off 75 contracts and let the rest of it ride. Hey man, nice gains in this trade, Wiz. I'm going to take 75 chips off the table. I'm going to leave the other 75 in there and let it ride. So there's a couple ways to manage this trade, folks. And here's the trade management to the downside. I usually don't touch the damn thing. Last week was a perfect example of why you don't touch the damn thing. On Tuesday, people were like, well, Wiz, this trade's underwater and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and what's your point? It's to Friday. Where is it? 5/17. So look at this. In one day, folks, look up here. 8,000, it made it, I told you, it made an $8,000 swing in one day. It went from being down, whatever, to up. This trade made 103% in a day, $3,200. So I am usually a set it and forget it guy. What is that, the Ronco oven or something like that? I usually set it and forget it. Okay, so that's some trade management, guys, and you will get this in the Options Weapon School training. Okay, we will do an entire session just on session 6, double verticals, man. You'll get an hour and a half to 2 hours. You will know a double vertical inside out, how to manage it and everything. So I just kind of gave you the executive summary on how to do this, so I could whet your appetite and say, I need this. And I know you do, folks. I got a lot of nice compliments in here. Never seen this trade. This is awesome. You can use this on anything, guys. Wiz, I think the Fred Sanford moment's coming. This is going to be the big one eventually, and we're going to pull back to this 50-day. Do a bearish double vertical on the market. I think this is a short squeeze here, guys. And my phone's going like crazy because I guarantee it's my hedge fund buddies saying the same thing. Like, I don't know any smart guy or gal in the market that's buying at this altitude. That tells me it's a little bit of a short squeeze and the volume sucks. Something's going to happen, guys. There's a violent pullback. There's a violent pullback. There's a smash through the 50-day. All of these were great places to obviously have on a VXX trade. Well, smart, Wiz, you're looking at the left side of the chart. Of course, you can point to places you should have those on. That's why you should have them on. That's why I put these on. Not so I can look at the left side of the chart. So I'm hedged and ready for a spike in vol. Okay? Yes, I will get into that. So guys, for those of you here's the difference. In annual membership at $9.95, it gets you the primary live trade brief every Tuesday at 10, and it gets you the urgent alert, which I'm doing right now for the week, along with the 8 sessions, okay? You get all 8 of my sessions that I teach you about, covered calls, vertical spread, diagonals, iron condors, all that stuff. If you want, hey, Wiz, but Monday at 1 o'clock, I'd like that weekly options stuff. Those are afterburner trades, folks. Those, that's fun, the weekly options trading. It can be it's a little, white knucklish, like right now. The SPX bear call spread is a little underwater. But folks, we have a long weekend coming up. The market, I know nobody who, first of all, is buying this market right here, but also who wants to get bullish on Friday in front of a long weekend, especially when it's called Memorial Day and who knows, potential terrorist attacks, everything like that. I would not be long this market going into the weekend. So, but if you want weekly options, with your Options Weapon School membership, it goes up to $14.95. So this is the better deal, folks, obviously, to do Options Weapon School plus the weekly options program, okay? And yes, whoever, I see a bunch of my existing members in here. If you're full throttle, Doug teaches full throttle. I teach Options Weapon School. It's just $195. Shoot an email to support@topgunoptions.com or call support right here, 754-300-1084, and they'll hook you up with the academics only portion. Okay? Yes, I'll put the link in the chat box here. You should still see it. It didn't go away. So, and I actually have another live trade brief here at 1 o'clock with investor inspiration that I got to get ready for. So, let me see how many. I think we probably have. Yep, about 12 slots are gone. 12 slots are gone, folks. So what's that? 13 left. So between today and the weekly options brief and debrief tomorrow afternoon, we're going to most likely get rid of all 25 slots. So if you want to hang out and wait until tomorrow and the weekly options to buy, if we don't have any slots left, you don't have any slots left. Chris, I'm still hanging onto that one. The Goldman Sachs. Let's take a look at Goldman Sachs. I might roll it up and out a little bit. Hold on. I don't have that portfolio up, Chris. What were the short calls I did? I manage 4 portfolios and I have Goldman Sachs in 2 of them. What were the short calls? Nice recovery out of Goldman Sachs here. We have a good iron condor on. We have a JP Morgan iron condor that's looking pretty good. That's an accelerated retirement though. As I'm waiting for Chris to remind, I guess I could open the primary live trade brief portfolio. Let me do that. Log out. TGO primary. Oh, good. All right. Welcome aboard, Steven. Steven's a Options Weapon School annual with weekly options. You got it, man. Thank you. I appreciate your kind words. The 220s. I would right now with Goldman Sachs catching a little bit of a bid here. I would roll those up and out to the. Let's pull up Goldman Sachs. And Chris, I'm actually going to take a look at that. That's why I got to get running here. I got to look at all my portfolios and send out any adjustments. So nice, a nice little move since we talked. Here's me talking about it on Tuesday. We talked it higher. How's my iron condor looking? Look at this trade, guys, for tomorrow. Here's my Goldman Sachs iron condor. It's up $1,800. I placed this last week. It's going to make 20 grand. Not 20 grand, $2,000. That is awesome. Give me a hell yeah if you'd like to make that much in a week. How do I get the cell phone alerts? Randy, did you grab your slot yet? Once you grab your annual slot here, just shoot an email to support that says, hey, I bought my Options Weapon School, and here's my cell phone number. And we'll enter it into our text alert system so you can start getting text alerts, okay? So once you grab your membership, just shoot us an email that says, because we don't have your cell phone number until you buy. So once you buy, we'll confirm that you bought, and then you can get your whatchamacallit, your text alerts. Okay. That was in the sign up for this training. Randy, that system doesn't talk to each other. These options weapon school webinars and stuff, when you signed up to get them for that, it doesn't, we have to tag you, Randy. If you're doing options weapon school with weekly options, for example, we have to go in now that you're a member and tag you, because right now you're tagged as just a free dude in a webinar. That makes sense? So Chris, I understand that. I'm going to send out an update to my Goldman Sachs trades. I'm going to roll those calls up and out to the probably next Friday's. Let me see. I'm going to close those, and I'm going to roll them up and out to next Friday's 2:30s. This is a pretty good snapback out of Goldman Sachs. I don't think we got to take a little bit of a breather here. I don't think it does that. I just don't. That's not going to happen. So Chris, sign up, and by the way, Chris, I don't think it was the 220 calls. It's the 225s. So maybe you typed it wrong. I sold the next Friday's 225 calls. So I'm hanging in these, Chris, actually, so I misspoke. So on that note, guys, let me get going because I want to start managing my portfolio for paying members. Okay, you guys, I'm glad you're joining me here for Options Weapon School and the free stuff. Now I got to go take care of my paid members, okay? So go.topgunoptions.com/getows. So that's what you need to do is head to there and grab your slot. Once you grab your slot, we'll enter your cell phone number so you can get alerts, okay? So Chris, we'll talk about that, rolling for a debit. That's no big deal. I'll talk about when you should roll stuff and everything in the training, folks. In all this training that you're going to get, Chris, I'm going to give you my brain, and you can do with it what you want. I like that. It's like a buffet, folks. When I train you in these 8 sessions, you're going to go up to the buffet and grab the stuff you like, and maybe ditch the stuff you don't like, or change puppy and make it small dog in your world, okay? But everybody, like I said, I think we have about half our slots gone, and I think we have about 12 remaining according to my support text, okay? So I got to run, guys. I got to go work for my members. Hopefully you're going to be a member. If we fill up our 25 today, I'll still do the session tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And if you don't get your slot, like I said, I haven't taught Options Weapon School in like a year and a half. We've been doing a ton of full throttles that Doug teaches. My members actually asked for me to do an Options Weapon School so they could do training with me, okay? You're welcome, John. All right, guys, I got to run. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. Welcome aboard to all of our new Options Weapon School members. We have one event left. It's the weekly options brief tomorrow afternoon, and it'll also be a debrief, okay? So make sure you watch the replays if you missed anything. The Iron Condor training last night, here's the replay page. But grab your slot, folks, because like I said, with only 25 of these, we're halfway there. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see many of you tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the debrief. God bless. We'll see you.